Hello. So I kept feeling a few different things since yesterday. I recorded for the first time in a while, a few weeks, and I wasn't sure if more was going to come through, but I have been feeling some things, and then I'm on a walk right now, and I just sort of asked if now was a good time to record, and within, 10 seconds, 2 birds just came out of apparently nowhere, flew over my head, and were just squawking. It was a very high-pitched squeak, or squeak might not be the right word, you know what I mean, like a bird chirp. Oh, and here's another bird as I say that. This one looks like, it has something in its mouth. I love when I see birds do that. I don't know why. Yeah, like early bird catches the worm type of thing. It might be a raven. So ravens could be significant. It's chewing something. Okay, so also I was walking. I just heard entrusted magic. Interesting. Entrusted magic. Yeah, so I was walking and I was about to go to the park, but something didn't quite feel right to go to the park yet. And I went to turn just to see, to feel out what I was about to do. And then I just saw this piece of fruit fall from a tree and just start rolling in the opposite direction of where I was going. And it turned out a few things. I stopped in this market to grab a few things, and it was funny because I then all of a sudden really had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, oh, well, thank you for that. Because if I would have went to the park, it would have been not the most comfortable situation. And growing up, I always loved Mariah Carey. And she came on as soon as I walked into the store. The song Make It Happen. There could be a message in those lyrics for you, but it was something about the lyric that caught my attention was I held on to my faith, and I stumbled and I prayed, something like that. Now I'm going to make it happen. And it's funny because yesterday I was talking to my sister and she was saying something basically the way that I'm going about my life in the moment, she said, you just have so much trust, in the universe, basically, and she was, encouraging me to hustle more, and, I always, take into consideration, especially the people with whom I love and respect so much, their opinion, or at least hear them out, and it's funny that the song Make It Happen came up because it's interesting when we talk about hustle culture. I didn't expect to talk about this today, but there was something coming through about those of us who feel like we are maybe clicking into a newer paradigm. And I know that personally I have been sort of wiggling my way through this subtle nuance of transcending hustle culture, but it's magnetizing, but also still taking inspired action and just finding my footing with that. So perhaps maybe you also have been feeling that. A bus just drove by with the number 8558. Mirroring numbers were coming through yesterday. So there could be a message for you in what I recorded yesterday as well. There's something about, I just bought asparagus, so we can look up the spiritual meaning of asparagus. I just heard to do that. Let's see. And all of a sudden, when I'm recording, planes are going by, a motorcycle went by, and I've been talking about this 8 of Wands and tarot, speeding up energy that's been coming through. Let's see. Asparagus. Growth and protection, fertility, bouncy of nature. And that's funny, the bouncy of nature, because when I saw the apple rolling, like just, and I'm like in the middle of a city, you know, I think it was an apple. So apples could also be significant. I was like, and yesterday I was talking about like harvest and bloom. So there's something about like the abundance of nature. I know that's been coming through for a lot of people lately, but it's coming through again. Transformation, health, wellness, and culinary sophistication. Funny, because food was also coming through yesterday a lot, like cooking. Interesting. Asparagus is also known for its medicinal uses, including as a laxative and to treat heart problems, dizziness, and bee stings. And bees, yesterday when I went to record, a bee landed on my left hand. So bees can also be significant. Let's see why bees are coming through. I was just shown like a white flower and like, you know, the pollination. So there's something about like something, yeah, like fertility is coming through, pollination. Again, like harvesting, and essentially like this, a lot of us are talking about this like new paradigm of showing up in the world, you know, like leading by example, transcending the idea of, if we call it hustle culture. And if that's something that like you're drawn to, I'm not asking anyone to not do that. This is more for people who that doesn't work for them, and there's just this new stream of consciousness, of energy, of, I'm walking by license plates and I see 5577 as well. There were 44. There were like 4 different signs, synchronicities that I looked up in a row that all gave the same message. Like I asked something out loud while I was walking, and a black butterfly flew by me like instantly. So I looked that up, and then there was a number 625 and 526, I believe, like different combinations of 5, 6, and 2. I kept seeing that yesterday, and all of those, when I looked them up, gave me a similar message, which I found really fun. Excuse me. I'm going to read the black butterfly. A black butterfly in spiritual terms generally symbolizes transformation, rebirth, and change, often representing a period of deep personal growth or a significant transition in life. Even if it comes from a seemingly dark or challenging time, it can signify letting go of the old to embrace new beginnings, with the black color representing the mystery and power of the unknown. Excuse me, I'm still releasing this lingering chest cold. Hello. Yeah, okay. So that message essentially came through, like I said, in multiple different ways, like back to back. And the whole idea of the unknown, and like, you know, those of us who maybe feel like we're sort of walking through life by faith and not by sight. That's what this theme today feels like it's really concentrating on. Last night I was falling asleep and I asked, like, where could my highest concentration be right now? Like, in terms of, you know, how can I be of service from my highest aligned truth and heart-based intention, etc. So many numbers are coming through. 551, 1551. Yep, there's 625. I was just talking about 6, 2, and 5, and I'm walking by something with 625. So yeah, you could be experiencing like a deeper feeling of alignment, synchronicity, or maybe that's something you're stepping into. Yesterday, the High Priestess came through, and I'm feeling that energy again. So yeah, this is like a very intuitive-based collective that I feel like I'm tuning into. And so, and that, you know, will look different for each person. We all have our connections and like ways of connecting, and also our really unique and individual ways. So I am walking with a bag, so if it's really noisy, my apologies. Yeah, there could be like little disturbances right now. that are sort of trying to pop in. Maybe like distractions. It's funny, I just heard someone sneeze as I said that. There's also been a lot of talk about tests and initiations. People call them tests. I like to call them initiations instead of a test. I don't know. I don't love the word test, to be honest, but whatever you want to call it, a test initiation. It seems as though as we close out this Gregorian calendar year of 2024, when I'm recording this, it's the beginning of December 2024. Of course, whenever you find this, it is timeless, so take it how it applies to you. There seems to be this, initiation energy. And for the collective I'm tuning into, it really feels like, and this has been coming up a lot lately, sort of like the mastery of emotional balance. And when I say emotional balance, I don't mean like you have to be perfectly emotionally balanced all the time. I think it's more of like continuing to add awareness and implement layers of peace, calm, and always coming back to that center point. Even if things get a little out of whack or out of balance. So this isn't like, oh no, I messed up. It's more of like, how do you handle how do you handle it? Some of you may be feeling just more peaceful in general and more balanced in your emotional body. The mental plane, thoughts, how you speak to yourself, about, again, patience, perseverance has been coming through a lot, compassion. And those of you who feel like you are pretty tuned into compassion and empathy, it's also sort of feels like it's interesting. It's like balancing that with also choosing yourself in a way, and this came through yesterday, that honors your own needs, your sensitivities, and so that you can be in that emotionally more peaceful, tranquil state, which then allows you to show up more and in a way that is inspiring to others and uplifting and not like a draining experience for everyone. And so as I was talking about this initiation, it feels like I was talking about a conversation coming through yesterday. It felt romantic, but it doesn't have to be. It could be in multiple areas of your life. For me, also like the idea of career and aligning with career in a way that, feels good to me and how I want to show up. I've noticed a difference in myself lately of, I felt like I had so much to say for such a long time and ways I wanted to express myself, but I was still really like hiding, and I knew that. It didn't feel ready to quite, burst out of the cocoon, if you will. It was like slow and steady steps forward, sometimes some steps back. Anyway, I've been really feeling like the last, few weeks, especially like today, I just woke up and I was like, wow, like I just feel different. Like I could feel the difference. It's funny, as soon as I said that, I walked by this like entryway into a house. I don't know if you heard that echo. It like amplified that energy. So yeah, there's like this amplification of, so perhaps you're feeling that, or maybe you will soon. But I wanted to get into this idea of, like a conversation, opportunities. It doesn't necessarily just feel like one thing, but it feels like there's maybe one highlighted thing of an initiation. And I don't want to like look at this necessarily as like a pass fail. When you take an exam, it's like pass fail. I think it's more of an opportunity to see your growth and expansion and how you can handle. And if, let's say this happens and it feels like you fail, even though there really is no exact failure. It's just, I really do believe what's meant for us will never pass us by, and things come around, they orbit our field, as people say, until we're ready for it. So I was talking yesterday about fine-tuning, and I've been talking about that a lot lately. So yeah, if that perspective helps take off some pressure, I hope that has helped. There was also stuff then when I asked last night about how I could be, more of just service and what is wanting to come through, I always ask, like, as I show gratitude for being able to be an intuitive channel and to continue showing up in the most, just like the unconditional love template, heart-based way. And I kept being shown like the solar energy and the grids on the planet. And it's funny, and the crystalline consciousness. And I think there's been I know there's been a big part of me. I just love learning. I learn also, like I study, internally through my dreams, through other amazing resources and other people who are sharing. And, it made me realize that I kept getting the message about collaboration, like to show up and collaborate. And I'm like, I've tried to collaborate with some people and they kept falling through. But I also realized, like, collaboration can look in so many ways. Like, there's been people, when I come across, their channels or other resources, I love to share, to share that. Even if they don't know I'm doing that, there's still a collaboration happening. And I realized, like, oh, I'm already doing it. And I'm sure the collaborations that are meant to happen more, physically, if you will show up when the time is right. So yeah, there's something about that coming through, like this I suppose instead of feeling like in competition or feeling like, I need to do it all on my own, like wolves can be significant, like lone wolf energy. I've definitely been in that for a long time in different ways, and I've been slowly just sort of embracing all the different ways of co-creation and collaboration, but also still taking responsibility and showing up and fine-tuning my own energetics so I can show up in a way that, like I was speaking of, can be an overflowing way. Maybe that's one of the reasons I picked the word overflow for my Patreon name. But yeah, so there was something else about the solar energy. Yeah, so someone who I listen to often, I've learned so much from her. Becca from Soul Based Life is her channel. I can link it below if you're interested. And to be honest, when I first found her, I was like so excited, but then also like, why would I even, I went through a little bit of a there's certain people that I find that I learn so much from, and then I feel like, oh, well, maybe I'm just not ready to do my own thing. So that could be like imposter syndrome could be something you're also overcoming, and that won't be for everyone. But yeah, then I had to sit with that and be like, no, that's not what this is. Anyway, she posted something today talking about, it's funny because I kept seeing the number 108 as well. And I saw the number 108 when I saw her mention, there's something one of her own subscribers shared with her. It's like an interactive map of the Earth's weather patterns, and she was speaking on how when you can track it, the way that this interactive map is presented, it feels, there's the number 551 again. I was talking about 155, 551, 1551, talking about this living, breathing energy of the planet. And the more sensitive we become, and the more I'm seeing the Lemurian epoch, the Lemurian frequency coming through today. They say the Lemurian, whether you believe it's a myth or it's true or there's some truth to it, the idea, the teachings, the mythos of Lemuria that I understand is, they were more of a tribal community. They were very connected to the earth. They weren't quite physicalized yet in their human body. And so there was this more ethereal, almost jelly-like physical presentation. And, they were almost sort of always tuned into the multidimensionality of Earth and the cosmos, the universe, the galaxy, etc. And a lot of us who feel that connection still to this day, when we're not, gaslighting ourselves out of our own intuitive remembrance and knowing, sort of have been slowly making these changes and creating spaces and places to be able to sort of reestablish that connection on a deeper level. And it starts individual, and now it really feels like that Three of Pentacles energy is coming through again. Like I'm seeing groups all over the place of people, online or just traveling around, starting more and more communities. And it's just a beautiful thing to see. I think I'm going to keep this one a little bit shorter today. And I'd love to hear from you if you have anything to say. Like I said, I do have a Patreon, an overflow Patreon, where you can check out just some deeper dives into some of these topics. Oh, I did want to say about the organic grids and the crystalline energy that I talk about so often. I was definitely going through that type of, inner conflict when I would be shown things about it in my dreams or in meditation, and then different things were popping up in my reality to sort of support that. And yeah, it's been like almost like hiding in plain sight. Like it was like I would deep dive and be so excited to learn about it, and then hold back sometimes when I go to speak about it, or convince myself that this is all made up and crazy, going through those different cycles. So I don't know why I'm feeling guided to share that, but I am. So maybe someone else is experiencing, and it doesn't have to be in that topic, of course. It could be with anything that you feel, within yourself that you feel passionate about. But yeah, I do plan on going deeper with some of these topics as I've been doing. And if there's certain things you'd like to hear, the number 23 can also be significant. Oh, and 31. I've been seeing 31 everywhere. 31. I'm walking up the hills of San Francisco, so I'm a little out of breath. That's why. But yeah, if there is anything you would like to go deeper with or hear more about, I'd love to hear from you. I've been seeing the word hybrid everywhere. Not everywhere. I've just seen it quite a few times. I'm hearing the book in my head, Meet the Hybrids. Barbara Lamb, and there's another author, maybe Juan something. That book could be significant for someone. Hybrids. Okay. Well, thank you, and that's all for right now.